Dr. Shashikant is a pioneering proponent of integrative medicine for disease prevention, diagnosis, as well as treatment, and he has impacted the health of multiple individuals in India, China, Southeast Asia, and Europe. He's been practicing for more than 15 years now. He has conducted multiple workshops, online, offline, in India and abroad, in areas as vast as rehabilitation, stress management, relaxation techniques, medical yoga, applied psychology, lifestyle disease management, and so on. So Dr. Shashikant has already conducted 5 different sessions for us, which have been very highly appreciated by our members. We are thankful to him. This today's session, which is on breathing techniques for seniors, he had already conducted it once earlier, on 19th of April, 19th of March, if I recollect correctly. And today is the repeat of basically the same session for the benefit of those people who might like to attend it again, and for those people who are attending it for the first time. I think Dr. Shashikant, this is a good time for you to start. I
Yes,
request
sir.
everyone to mute themselves so that everybody can hear Dr. Shashikant well. And whenever you need to talk, you need to discuss something with Dr. Shashikant, please unmute yourself. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So thank you very much. Sir, what we'll do is first now 45 minutes we'll just do the so now compared to last time. Uh, this time what we'll do is the first 45 minutes we will just do the sessions however it is difficult, not difficult, or easy to follow, not able to follow. I'll try to make it as easy as possible, and next last 15 minutes we'll have a discussion. So in that way, I think it will be easy for us to have a record of this session where we can be able to practice later. Okay. So, namaste one and all. So we begin the class today with with an idea and gratitude for Unmukh people and IMWell people to uh, coordinatedly arrange this particular class for us. So this platform has given us connect where we are able to connect with each other and share this breathing technique and relaxation technique, which we are going to have this session, 5 sessions. So it is very interesting uh, to bring the mind of Eastern yogic perspective and the Western scientific perspective. So what we learned today is a breathing technique which you already know it, but today you will be knowing it with a little different perspective. So I welcome one and all. So towards the end we'll discuss details. Even introduction of the people also can be done towards the end of the session, because if I ask you to introduce yourself, all of you, maybe 28 plus people are there. So that itself will take away our 20-30 minutes. So later on we'll have last 15 minutes for that. Okay. So to start with, it is very interesting to know that Indian heritage is filled with the science of soul or the science of spirit. In that context, the Western medical and Western psychological psychiatry, it is an evolving science. It looks like it is completely modern, but it has to learn a lot of things from the depth of yoga for it to incorporate into its understanding of the normal mind and the supranormal mind, and then to understand the abnormal mind or the anxieties or depressions and other abnormal mind. So yoga has a greatest treasure, which we choose some of them to use it for our day-to-day health benefits. You know, so there is one research which says that we it looks like we breathe from the both nostrils. From externally, it is not visible, but actually we breathe from the nostril. One side of the nostril will be dominant all the time, and after 40 to 45 minutes, other side of the nostril will become dominant. So it is called as nostril dominance. So each time, one of the nostril, either right side of your nostril will be dominant. Dominant means the humidity of that nostril will be more compared to the other side. So it is a research which says binostril dominance, and they observed that it is changes every 45 minutes to 50 minutes or so. So this is a common experience when you have your common cold and nose block. You observe that after a few hours, so one side of the nostril will become cleared off and it will other side will get blocked. So this is a common experience. So that is the commonest experience of the nadis. Nadi. It's a science of subtle energy channels. They call it as nadi. When people does some pranayama, for example, nadi shodhana pranayama, it looks like some fancy Sanskrit name, but it is absolutely the depth of a science which says that you are balancing the bi-nostril dominance. So one side of the nostril is dominant. By doing the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, you're trying to balance both the sides. So ultimately, what happens with the nostril balancing? You are activating the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain simultaneously. So this is very interesting phenomena where your right brain and left brain are active simultaneously. So usually we use one side of our brain little extra, like you are listening to the music or you are interacting with learning some music, you are using more of the right brain. You're doing a mathematical formula, you're using the more of the left brain. But there are rare cases where while doing Surya Namaskara, while doing Namaskara Mudra, while doing Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, you use simultaneous right and the left brain together. So this is very interesting. So we do the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama together with this understanding that you are going to balance the nadis or the nostril dominance and stimulate right brain and left brain together. So this is modified accordingly where it suits elderly people, where it is simple. From a young child to an oldest of old elderly people, we can do it. So with this little understanding about nostril dominance, when we'll just I'll demonstrate how to do the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. We'll fold the index finger, we fold the middle finger, you hold like this. So this holding position is called as Nasika Mudra. Then you turn your hand towards your face and then you block the right nostril. So usually they say start from the left side. So exhale from the left nostril. Inhale from the left nostril, breathing in from the left nostril. Close the left nostril and then breathe out from the right nostril. Breathing in from the right nostril. Close the right nostril and breathe out from the left nostril. So this is one count. So let us do, all of us will do 10 counts slowly and relax. You can keep your left palm underneath of your right elbow. You can relax like this and hold your hands in front of your nose. This holding gesture is called as Nasika Mudra. So close your right nostril. We'll start all of us. You can do this. Don't worry about the health concerns. Anybody can do this anytime, no problem. Be gentle, be aware of your breathing. Close your right nostril. Exhale from the left. Inhale from the left. Close your left nostril. Exhale from the right. Inhale from the right nostril. Close your right nostril. Exhale from the left nostril. Inhale from the left nostril. Close your left nostril. Exhale from the right nostril. Inhale from the right nostril. Close your right nostril. Exhale from the left nostril. Breathe in from the left nostril. Close your left nostril. Exhale from the right nostril. Breathing in from the right nostril. Close your right nostril. Exhale from the left nostril. Continue this pattern of breathing for remaining counts of 5 to 7 counts, whatever remaining counts. If you have done total 10 counts of Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, you can relax. Drop your hands down. Close your eyes. Be aware of your breathing for some time. Notice the stillness within. Notice the less number of thoughts inside. Notice the expansion of awareness. With this, very slowly and gently, open your eyes. So this is the first technique what I teach usually. Normally we learn this everywhere. Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. So right nostril, left nostril you are using to inhale and exhale alternatively. So it is called as alternative nostril breathing. So scientifically, the left nostril is considered to be related with parasympathetic nervous system. Right nostril is related with sympathetic nervous system. So right nostril coincides with your Surya Nadi, that is heat, hot, sun, energy. Left nostril considered with Chandra Nadi, that is cooling. So cooling energy usually correlates with autonomic nervous system, that is parasympathetic nervous system, which deals with relaxation response. Right nostril, a sympathetic nervous system, which deals with stress response. So in our inside of our body, we have two systems of nervous systems. One is under our control, we call it as voluntary nervous system. Second one, which is not under our control, we call it as involuntary nervous system. In this involuntary nervous system, it has again two categories, sympathetic and parasympathetic. which will regulate each and every organs of our body, each and every muscles of our body, each and every parts of our body has its own specific sympathetic nervous system and alternatively parasympathetic nervous system. So this is how is internally autonomic nervous system organizes itself to protect the biomachine of the body without our conscious will. So if consciousness should not be given every important vital organs control. So body has given the control to certain parts of the brain, and brain has controlled the heart, especially heart center, respiratory center, digestive center, every internal hormonal secretions, every internal things. Even though we are educated, not educated, the brain is educated enough, which is in line with the higher cosmic orders or universal intelligence, to regulate the body functions optimally. If it is not optimal, then we will end up in some uneasiness or the disease or change in the hormone pattern. So when you work on the breathing simultaneously, the regular Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, you are actually making the hypothalamus and the pituitary glands to get stimulated to secrete required hormones for the body optimally. So this is one indirect way of explaining the acid-base balance of the body. So actually how you exercise for the muscles, and muscles will become strong by working on the breathing. Actually the content of your hydrogen, oxygen saturation and other parts of the acid and base content. So there is amount of acidic natured chemical in our blood, and there is some amount of basic natured blood chemicals in the body. So when these two are balanced, we call it as acid-base balance. When there is some change in this acid-base balance, we'll end up in certain diseases. So yoga is so deep that you go deep to the level of oxygen levels, carbon dioxide levels, and acid-base chemicals of the blood, and you try to stimulate that by using the breath. The pattern of different pattern. One pattern may be fast breathing, one pattern may be slow, relaxed breathing. So that's why when we correlate and see the modern sciences, everything we can correlate with the oxygen saturation of the body and especially your lung capacity. So if you are getting aged, you are retired but not tired, means your lung volume is the one which we need to work on. So that is still in our control. The respiratory system is the only part of our body which is both voluntary and involuntary. So you can hold your breath for certain time. So on an average, if you are practicing breathing techniques more and more, you can hold your breath for longer time. So that is your lung capacity or breath holding capacity. So normally we can hold minimum is around 16 seconds to 20 seconds. But some people can hold for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute. So by doing this practice, Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, I recommend you to practice 30 times morning and 30 times evening. 1 hour before and 1 hour after doing this, you can avoid consuming anything inside the stomach. So that stomach is empty, you will be able to focus much better. So this is the first breathing technique, simple breathing technique, Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. You might be knowing it, but we have reoriented itself to a little scientific correlation. And second one I would like to teach you is simple diaphragmatic breathing. Very simple, absolutely simple. It will hardly take you 3 to 5 minutes. So I know that it looks a little monotonous because I am talking and you're all listening, but it is still okay because I want you to have this record with you so that you can practice later. So diaphragm is a muscle which I'm showing with my hand. It is like this. Diaphragm will be like this. It is a dome-shaped muscle which will divide the respiratory chest cavity and the stomach cavity. And when the diaphragm contracts, it will become concave like this. The lung space will increase, and it will create a vacuum inside the lung space compared to the outside environment. So body takes the breath in because there is a more vacuum, more space. So energy moves from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Because diaphragm contracted, you have created vacuum, air will get sucked inside the lungs. When diaphragm again relaxes, the pressure inside the lungs will increase compared to the outside pressure. So we exhale. So diaphragm is that important muscle. It is not just the only one. There are other muscles between the ribs. We call it as intercostal muscles. Costa means ribs, chest ribs. 1 to 7 separate ribs, 8 to 12 all fused ribs. So intercostal, in between the ribs, there is a muscle called as intercostal muscle. So this also stretches. If I show my hands like this, if it is a ribs, intercostal muscles will be at the back. So this also helps to expand the thoracic cavity or the chest. So simple diaphragmatic breathing technique is the awareness of the imagination of the diaphragmatic contraction. When I breathe in, diaphragm contracts down. So diaphragm contracts down, I cannot be aware of the diaphragm so easily. So I'll be aware of the abdomen bulging out. So that's how it is. Your abdomen bulges out when the diaphragm contracts. So initial days, you be aware of the breathing in, abdomen bulges out, breathing out, abdomen sinks in. So this is an awareness for the diaphragmatic breathing. So let us do that. You follow the simple instruction is close your eyes. If you want, you can keep your both hands onto your tummy, your abdomen. So awareness of contraction of diaphragm muscle can be felt by inhaling air inside your nostrils, and you feel when you inhale air inside your lungs, you feel the stomach bulging out. So that is the awareness which you need to correlate for diaphragmatic breathing. Take a deep breath in, abdomen bulges out, exhale from the nostrils, abdomen goes in or sinks in. So let us be aware, diaphragm contracts, you breathe in, abdomen bulges. Think of these three things simultaneously. Breathe out, abdomen sinks in, and you exhale. Breathing in, diaphragm contracts downwards, abdomen bulges out. Breathe out, abdomen sinks in, diaphragm relaxes, you breathe out. So be aware of this. And in this diaphragmatic breathing, it is just awareness of the muscle movement and focusing on that. As simple as that. Let us feel it for about 5 counts of breathing in and breathing out with awareness of stomach bulging out and sinking in. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, breathe out. Breathing in, stomach bulges out, diaphragm contracts. Breathe out, stomach sinks in, diaphragm relaxes. Breathing in, diaphragm contracts, stomach bulges out. Breathing out, stomach sinks in, diaphragm relaxes. Be aware of this for a few more counts. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathe out. Relax. Release your hands down. Slowly and gently open your eyes. So this technique you can use whenever you have any inflammation in the body or any high blood pressure, so or you're thinking too much, not able to get a sleep. So you can use this practice. We'll discuss about this. So diaphragmatic breathing technique is a second breathing technique, very simplest, very easy to do, and you can do it sitting, onto the chair, sitting onto the wheelchair, lying down onto the bed, anything, however you are. If you're breathing comfortable, you can do this diaphragmatic breathing technique. So when your mind is shifted to focus your awareness onto the diaphragm, mind will be doing thought dissociation. Mind is distracted to focus on the awareness of diaphragm. So mind is getting some work to do. It is awareness of diaphragm, and background number of negative thoughts, worrisome thoughts, tensions will reduce. And by doing that, your parasympathetic nervous system will get activated. Parasympathetic nervous system get activated, your relaxation response will set in. Later you can find out what is that relaxation response. When your relaxation response is set in, all the internal organs will get an optimal blood supply, and body thinks of repairing itself when the body is vibrating with a frequency of healing. That is when the body goes for parasympathetic activity. Parasympathetic is more of relaxation and repair. So to take the mind and the body towards that relaxation response, diaphragmatic breathing technique also can be used. So this is second breathing technique. Third one, we call it as a full yogic breathing technique, which has other 4 components, which I will tell you. So and then we'll discuss. So based on you'll get a lot many questions right now. I know that. We'll discuss towards the end of the class. We'll definitely give you time to ask any number of questions. So when you see the thorax, this chest part, there is a clavicle, there is a chest, there is a diaphragm area. So when I say full yogic breathing, you're imagining that you're using upper part of the lungs by using the clavicular movement. You're using the chest part by expanding the chest and recoiling the chest, expanding the chest and recoiling the chest. You're using the diaphragm part, which is second one, what we have done is the diaphragmatic breathing. You're already aware of it. So when you do the diaphragmatic breathing, chest breathing and clavicular, you're making more space for the lungs to expand. So how to do that? I'll share it with you. And when you do that, you're actually aerating lot upper part of your lungs, middle part of the lungs, and lower part of the lungs, little extra than normal, normal without awareness. So this is called as full yogic breathing. Full yogic breathing consists of 3 things. First one is the clavicular breathing, which I'll tell you how to do. Second one is the thoracic breathing, which I will tell you how to do. Third one is the diaphragmatic breathing, which you already know it. And full yogic breathing is 1 diaphragmatic, 2 thoracic, 3 clavicular breathing, all the 3 together. If you do, that will become full yogic breathing. So let me teach you clavicular breathing. Simple one. Be aware of your collarbone. This one. The collarbone starts from the middle of the breastbone, that is called a sternum. From sternum, clavicular, till it goes and attaches to the olecranon process or this glenoid cavity near to the scapula. So clavicle is simple, collar bone. Okay. It's very, very simple. When you breathe in, you raise your clavicle up. When you breathe out, bring your clavicle back. As simple as that. So breathing in, clavicles up. Breathing out, clavicles down. Very simple. You can rest your both hands either onto the knees or you can relax somehow. Breathe in, you can practice with me, clavicles up, both the sides. Breathing out, clavicles down. Synchronize your breathing with the awareness of clavicular movement, moving upwards, inhale, moving downwards, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in, clavicles up, you inhale. Breathe out, clavicles down, you exhale. Breathing in, clavicles up, you inhale. Breathe out, clavicles down, you exhale. One more last time. Breathing in, clavicles up. Breathe out, clavicles down. You can stop the practice. To condense in short time, I limited this for just simple 5 breathings. Breathing in, clavicles up, breathing out, clavicles down. So this is called as clavicular breathing. It is, again, you can use it, simple technique to dissociate your mind whenever you feel stressed, anxious, or you feel not able to sleep. You can practice this clavicular breathing as a single modality or in combination with all the three as a full yogic breathing, which I'll tell you. Okay. Second one part of the breathing technique in this full yogic breathing is, first is clavicular, second is thoracic. Thoracic, I'll just put my hands like this. Just imagine. In front of my chest, I touch my middle finger. When I'm breathing in, you can see my fingers are getting expanded. You see? Breathe out. Okay, breathing in, breathe out. So this is, I only made this hand gesture to make you feel that the in between at the middle of my chest area where I'm touching the two fingers together with the middle finger, when I breathe in, there is a thoracic cavity will get expanded. So the surface area increases, my thoracic area increases. The in between fingers, there is a space. When I breathe out, it will become less space. Either you can practice this, or you can simply practice. Either you can keep your hands, or you can leave it just like that. When you breathe in, don't elevate the clavicle like how you did in the clavicular breathing, but you expand the chest. So how to expand the chest? Be aware of your chest and take a deep breath in. Your chest automatically expands. So do that. Let us do that 5 counts. Take a deep breath in. Your chest expands. Breathe out. Chest recoils. Breathing in. Chest expands. Breathe out. Chest recoils. Continue to do so another 3 counts. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Chest expands. Breathe out. Chest recoils. You can stop the practice. The last one is the diaphragmatic breathing, which I already told you. So breathing in, the diaphragm contracts, stomach bulges out. So you be aware of breathing in, stomach bulges out. Breathing out, stomach sinks in. We'll do 1 or 2 times only. Breathe in, stomach bulges out. Breathe out, stomach sinks in. Breathing in, stomach bulges out. Breathe out, stomach sinks in. So this is diaphragmatic breathing. When you're practicing at home, you can do clavicular breathing 20 times, thoracic breathing 20 times, the diaphragmatic breathing 20 times. So this will become individually clavicular, thoracic, diaphragmatic breathing, 3 breathing techniques. But in total, if you imagine that you're doing the clavicular, thoracic, and abdominal or diaphragmatic, all of them together, how it could be? It will be like when I breathe in, the clavicles raises up, chest expands, stomach bulges out. You are aware of 3 things now. Breathing in, clavicles up, chest expands, stomach bulges out. Breathing out, clavicle sinks in, chest recoils, stomach sinks in. Let us be aware of this. When I breathe in, clavicle moves up, chest expands, stomach bulges out. So diaphragm, thoracic, clavicular. When I breathe out, clavicle goes down, chest recoils, stomach sinks in. Let us be aware of this full yogic breathing. This is called as full yogic breathing, which comprises of clavicular breathing, thoracic breathing, and diaphragmatic breathing. So how to imagine and how to feel it? You imagine you are using the lungs for the fullest and you have a large quantity of oxygen to take in. So you're using the clavicle, thorax, and thoracic area and the diaphragm. So how to do that? Breathe in, clavicles up, chest expands, and stomach bulges out. Breathe out, clavicles down, chest recoils, stomach sinks in. See if you can correlate these three things at once simultaneously. If you are able to do it, let us do it. If you are not able to do, what to do is just take a deep breath in if it is comfortable and then exhale completely. Then feel it. And along with you do the clavicular breathing. So you're aware of the clavicle breathing and do it. Thoracic area will do it automatically. Abdominal area will do it automatically. You'll feel that. Okay. If you're not able to focus at all these 3 points, you focus on the clavicle. Fill your lungs with the good prana of oxygen, which is God given, energy given, universe has given to you. Breathe in, clavicles up, chest expands, stomach bulges out. Breathe out, clavicles down, chest recoils, stomach sinks in. So be aware of this 5 counts. Breathe in, clavicles up, chest expands, stomach bulges out. Breathe out, clavicles down, chest recoils, stomach sinks in. Do that. Breathe in, clavicles up, chest expands, stomach bulges out. Breathe out, clavicles down, chest recoils, stomach sinks in. Breathing in, clavicle, thoracic, abdomen. Breathe out, clavicle down, thoracic recoil, abdomen sinks in. 2 more counts. Breathing in, breathe out. Breathing in and breathe out. I can do one more last count. Breathing in, clavicles up, chest expands, stomach bulges out. Breathe out, clavicles down, chest recoils, stomach sinks in. Relax. Keep your eyes closed for a moment, 1 minute or 40 seconds to 1 minute. Feel the awareness of breath at the level of your nostrils, at the level of your back of the throat, at the level of your lungs, at the level of your diaphragm. If I keep quiet, if I keep my awareness onto the breath, if I focus my awareness onto the breathing, then this type of breathing exercise is called as mindful breathing. So it's part of mindfulness meditation, mindfulness walking, mindfulness eating, mindfulness being. So mindfulness breathing. What is that? So initially you are the body and you are breathing and you are focusing your attention onto your breathing. Initially your feeling will be like this. Later on, when you fix your awareness towards your breathing for an extended time, you feel that you became your breath and your breath became you without much body awareness. So that is called as you being into the mindfulness breathing. So just simply be aware of your mind. Breathe in, breathe out. Just being aware of the breath. Anapanasati meditation or mindfulness breathing. Simply being aware of your own breathing. No imaginations, no God, no Guru, no symbols, nothing. So nothingness will bring the mindfulness if you are aware of it. So be aware of breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. simply being aware of your breath. Exhale it out. Breathe in, be aware of your breath. Breathe out, be relaxed. Feel this awareness. Breathing in, be aware of your breath. Breathe out, be aware of your exhale breath. Breathing in, be aware of your inhaled breath. Breathe out, be aware of your exhaled breath. Breathing in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in, being mindful, and breathe out, being mindful. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Be aware like this for a few seconds. Very slowly and gently, you come back to your body awareness. You have learned few breathing techniques which we'll discuss. If any questions are there, we'll discuss. Just to tell you in concise, what we tried is Nadi Shodhana Pranayama working on the nostril dominance. Second one, we tried diaphragmatic breathing. Third one, we did the full yogic breathing. In that, there are three components: clavicular breathing, thoracic breathing, and abdominal breathing. 1, 2, 3. Full yogic breathing is combining all these three things together. Is full yogic breathing. So you have learned these things. I'll tell you based on your questions, you'll get to know that how to do it and how much to do it. So Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, I requested you to do 20 counts morning, 20 counts evening. And diaphragmatic breathing, whenever you are stressed up or not able to sleep and all those, just you can use one part of that. So full yogic breathing is doing fully. Either you want to use just the chest part and do the thoracic breathing, you can do that, or you can use the clavicular part and do the thoracic breathing. Clavicular breathing, you can do that, or you can be aware of the diaphragm area and be aware of the diaphragm movement by abdomen bulging out and sinking in. You can do that. So I think categorically we have done very good job by finishing it exactly 46-47 minutes. Now you can open up and ask. You can release your arrow of you shoot your questions. So I'm ready to answer your questions.
Doctor, Nadi Sanshothan Pranayam, to how many counts? Shodhan Pranayam, to how many counts?
Yeah, I mentioned 20 to 30 counts you can practice this.
No, when you're holding your releasing and exhaling your breath, how many counts?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, one count is when you're holding the Nadi, this Nasika Mudra, I close the right nostril, exhale from the left, inhale from, just hold on. Exhale from the left, inhale from the left, close the left nostril, exhale from the right, inhale from the right, and close the right nostril, and exhale from the left. So this will become one. So this 5 will become 1.
Okay.
So that is one count. And when you continuously doing it, you should do it as a 10
Ideally,
count.
how many should you do? 10.
Ideally, yeah, simply whenever you have time, if you are able to do it 20, at least 20 counts, well and good. If you are able to do it 30 to 40 counts comfortably, then it is quite good. See, there is one context which says that being established into the pranayama and just doing pranayama is different. Everybody doing breathing technique is not pranayama. So when you're actually feeling the pranayama, your mind and the body are in sync with your inner energies, and it is very a powerful feeling that you are totally in control of your mind, body, and the inner spirit. Then we can say that if it is happening because of the breathing, then we can say that you are established in the pranayama. Otherwise, you are simply doing some breathing technique. If mind is running around and we are not able to focus fully, all the breathing techniques are simple breathing techniques. If awareness
Doctor,
is increasing,
does
yes.
everybody have to start with left, or how do we know whether to start with right or left?
Yeah, they, as a tradition practice, they want to do is they'll start and end with the left nostril. But you can actually, there is no hard and fast rule that do I need to start only from the left or right. So there is, you can change it, no problem. But modern modern diseases are as such that if I correlate with this nostril dominance, I'll say right nostril is your Surya Nadi and left nostril is your Chandra Nadi. So sympathetic and parasympathetic. If I correlate, sympathetic activity of the modern world is too high. We for example, we encourage people to do multitasking, but we will not encourage people who are simply sitting. Is it not? So parasympathetic, sympathetic, there is a difference in the dimension of parasympathetic and sympathetic. So sympathetic is correlating with the right nostril. So in that sense, if you are doing left nostril little extra, it is good for you. In that scientific context, I say starting and ending with the left nostril is good. Otherwise, you can do any. Otherwise, you can do anyway. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, one question, doctor.
Haji.
Is there any specific besides these for this corona immunity breathing?
So I think breathing, we have made a, based on these are all traditional texts and contents of breathing technique. But next session on 9th, what you learn is this is what we made it, especially during Corona time, and we really spent around 2.5 years to design this. So I teach a breathing technique, breathing in, holding, and breathing out in a particular pattern with some mudras. So ultimately, any breathing technique which you increase your lung volume is good for you. Let it be by any guru anywhere in the world, whatever it is. So it is good for you. So breathing in will correlate with your inhalation lung capacity. How much is the capacity of oxygen where you can take in? So breathing, holding the breath is, it works on your tidal volume or the dead space inside the lung. So all the lung space is not utilized at once. So when you're traveling uphill, you feel that panting for the breath is because certain extra part of your lung is getting used. And while exhaling, even the exhaled amount of the breath, what you exhale out also matters. It builds when you train it up in a slow and sustained fashion. So that's what all the trainings are required. And in the Corona time, what I'll say is any practice where you inhale deeply, exhale deeply is better. But when you are in crowded place, if you're not wearing mask, don't do anything. You just wear mask and run back to your home, then you practice. Otherwise, no. So deep breathing techniques are much better.
Okay. So is it okay to hold your breath for a long time, or is it?
Depends. If you're yoga practitioner, you want to hold. It depends why you want to hold the breath. Is it to control the mind or is it to train the lungs? So in both the sense, in train the lungs. So in this pattern, I'll teach you another technique where on second, I think April 9th, I think. So there I'll teach you a 4-4-4 breathing technique. Then I'll ask you to do slow way. Second month I'll ask you to do 6-4-6 breathing technique. Third month I'll ask you to do 6-6-6 seconds breathing. And later on, if your lung capacity is really increasing, you can do 8 seconds breathing in, 8 seconds holding the breath, 8 seconds exhalation. So when you're slowly progressing, you're increasing the peak flow rate of your lungs. So that's actually you're working on the lung volume. Slow and sustained way, step up manner is like one step. First step is basic 4-4-4 breathing. Next step is little higher. Next step is little higher.
Yeah.
Holding the breath indirectly also controls your mind. Anger control can be done by holding the breath or reverse counting. So you should practice holding the breath also.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, one more question.
Yes.
I would like to know how the breathing techniques helps the body. I mean, health-wise, what are its priorities? I mean, breathing
Very
techniques.
interesting. You want me to go deep? I can go deep in this because it's very, very fascinatingly interesting, believe it or not. Why I chose yoga is only because of there are 3 types of muscles in our body. One which are on the skeleton, which is under our control. That is, we call it as skeletal muscles. Second one is the heart muscles. Third one is the smooth muscles. So smooth muscles and heart muscles are not under our control. So striated muscles of skeleton is under our control. So to answer your question, in you simple way of understanding is you understand like if your oxygen saturation lung volume is very good, your body is aerated very well, oxygen saturation is much better. And disease starts when there is a more acidic nature in the body or less oxygen saturation. I'll give an example. For example, you are having some 5 rupees with you and you have to spend for 10 people or something like that. You can take it. You can equally distribute 50 paisa will come to all the people. But if you have a fat cell, too many fat cells, and for example, you take for muscles, some amount of oxygen goes, for the bone, some amount of oxygen goes, for the brain, some amount of oxygen, glucose goes, usually, normal sense. But if you're accumulating lot of fat cells, and fat cells are very demanding, I want oxygen, I want glucose at any cost, even if your other part of the body is not getting. So some part of your body, either your pancreas or your back muscles or some gastric muscles will get compromised, less blood supply. If they get less blood supply, then the beginning of the disease will start there in an anaerobic environment. So this is so deep that if you are actually aerating the lungs much better, your recovery rates will be much better for any disease for that matter, because body uses all the oxygen and the glucose.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And does it help in reducing weight also, these breathing techniques? Does it?
Of course. So it depends on how you want to modify and use. So for weight reduction, if your blood pressure is under control, when sir was introducing, Rajesh sir was introducing like medical yoga. So usually what I do is I'll do the medical evaluation as a medical doctor, MBBS, simple MBBS doctor, how the detailed medical history and evaluation, physical examination. So based on that, if your blood pressure is normal and if you want to, if you're overweight, for example, then I use more of a right nostril breathing with the regulation of control of the blood pressure. In the sense, I'll check your blood pressure now, and then I'll ask you to do the right nostril breathing 40 times morning, 40 times afternoon, 40 times evening. And then I ask you to do some mudras like Surya Mudra and some relaxation techniques or some exercises based on your capacity and your ability to move different parts of the muscles. So then I design and give it as a medical yoga. So, but fast breathing, right-sided nostril breathing can be used for increasing the fat oxidation or lipid oxidation.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, doctor, is
Yes.
this breathing techniques some way connected to the blood circulation or?
Yeah. So oxygen, when we take the oxygen inside, it will become get dissolved into the blood, and the heart will pump, and this oxygenated blood will go to each and every part of the body as a dissolved oxygen, dissolved carbon dioxide, and dissolved nitrogen. So at the level of this dissolved levels, we call it as acid base. I want you to note down this word, acid base balance. You check it out, you'll be able to get it. Acid base balance. So breathing technique will help you add this level of acid base balance to not to deviate your body's composition of acidic components and basic components to various ranges. Even if you feel extremes, too much of fever, for a yoga person who is doing better breathing technique, he'll recover faster. That's what I mean. Because your acid base nature will get adjusted to the varieties of experiment or the stresses, because you're already training with the breathing. So other normal people who is not working on his lung capacity or breathing just very casually, he or she might get affected little higher, little more compared to the person with regular breathing exercises.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So any questions in case anyone has? We still have about 3 minutes to go. If you have any questions to ask Dr. Shashikant, please feel free. Okay, so it seems there are no questions, Dr. Shashikant. Thank you very much for this beautiful session. All of us do look forward to the second part of this session day after tomorrow at the same time. We look forward to see you again, Doctor. And to all our participants, tomorrow we have a chair yoga session by Meenal, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And day after tomorrow, Dr. Shashikant coming to us again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shashikant.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was very informative.
Yeah.